We're back with more News Talk, Saga 960. So very glad you could join us on this Thursday edition of the show. Well, it happened at the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle in Washington, D.C. This was at the funeral of Ethel Kennedy. And, well, much has been made about what was said. This post by Johnny Maga. I found the full exchange between Obama and Biden at Ethel Kennedy's funeral a very tense conversation 20 days out from the election. If anyone can read lips, let me know what they're saying. It's probably pretty damn good. I don't know. But it appears that Obama is saying it's done. No, it's done. Kamala is losing badly. Well, is that what he said? It looks like he may have said that, and then there's some other things that he is saying that we can't quite make out. Miles Kristen joining us from Wisconsin. Miles, did you happen to see this video?
I only saw the internet renditions of it that were pretty darn funny. But I guess you can say I've seen the video, but not, I've seen the video with audio added in.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, obviously they're concerned, and I think they are talking about the election, and I think they know that Kamala is turning into one of the worst any candidate in the history of presidential politics. I mean, you've voted Democrat in the past. What do you make of what's going on in the election?
Well, the biggest thing I keep telling people is that 20 years ago when John Kerry was running, you had people all over the country of all different ages actively involved in the process in making phone calls and doing literature drops and knocking on doors. I remember 20 years ago literally standing at a shipyard at 3 o'clock in the morning for the shift change to hand out literature. This is what I did when I must have been 18 years old, handing out literature at 3 o'clock in the morning and engaging with people. And in the last 4 days, I've done a lot of videoing down on State Street in Madison, Wisconsin. Yesterday, I was filming this group called Wisco Votes, which is like a Democrat front group, and they're handing out stickers for Kamala and then the Senate candidate, Tammy Baldwin. And I was asking them the easiest fluff question, open-ended. Tell us your thoughts on the election. Oh, we can't talk. Can you mention any policies that are important? No, we can't talk. It's like, okay, if you're not even going to engage, citizen journalists, this is just worthless what you're doing. And I went up and down State Street Saturday morning, Saturday night, and again a couple times over the last few days. And I'm telling you, this is one of the most liberal spots in the country. And the amount of support I saw for Trump was mind-blowing. I'm talking young black men for Trump, immigrants for Trump, women for Trump. I mean, you could say maybe that the interviews I got were 50-50, but this was State Street in Madison, Wisconsin, one of the most liberal places in the entire country that is typically 75% Democrat.
Time magazine with this, referring to Kamala Harris. This is, I don't know if this is their cover or what, but as a statement by Time, Harris declined repeated requests for an interview for this story. In contrast, Trump talked about his policy vision with a Time reporter for 90 minutes across 2 interviews. Biden spoke to Time at similar length before dropping out of the race. And then you've got this disastrous interview that she did with Bret Baier over at Fox. I'm going to play a couple of clips a little later on, but Bret Baier said that Kamala's staff was urgently requesting to end the interview. The statement from Bret Baier is, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like, it's got to stop. I mean, wow. I mean, it really seems like the bottom is falling out of her campaign. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, she has not been doing interviews, and there's this talk for apparently a moment that there was a possibility she was going to do the Rogan podcast, and it sounds more like Trump's going to be doing the Rogan podcast and that she won't. But no, she's her and Biden both have been really, I mean, Biden did like less press conferences than any president. But I mean, he's still doing interviews, throughout his presidency. She has done so little amount of interviews. I mean, and, it's kind of like Trump has been doing a lot of podcasts, everything from like Lex Friedman to Andrew Schultz to, there's another famous comedian, I can't think of his name at the moment, but he has been doing a lot of like long form interviews. And Kamala just, I mean, their biggest thing is like she can't talk on camera, they can't express policy. I don't like either of the candidates, but when I talk to people, all they can do is throw this fear tactic at me, Trump this, Trump that. I'm like, just try to sell me on what is Kamala. Tell me why I should vote for Kamala. Don't tell me why I should vote against Trump. I can make up my own mind on that. I know what I don't like about Trump. I don't need your extreme narrative that he's, this dictator and all that other stuff. I have got my reasons why I won't vote for Trump, but their whole thing that Democrats and people on the left are doing is like, he's going to be this evil dictator and rip up the Constitution. And it's like, yeah, I'm also aware of the policies that the Democrats have done that are really, really, really bad,
Exactly. Wow. So, I mean, she's got, 19 days, 18 days to turn things around. But I think because of the momentum going with Trump and against Kamala, it's going to be really, really hard for the Democrats to turn this thing around. So,
and on top of it, I would say that the response to the hurricane has been worse. Hurricanes has been worse than George W. Bush's response to Hurricane Katrina. I mean, not just has the government not done enough, they've been impeding on public citizens' ability to help their fellow citizen. I mean, what has gone on in those states is so horrible. And it's like, if they had done good, if they'd gotten the National Guard, they'd gotten the military there by, the tens of thousands needed, hundreds of thousands needed, and really helped those citizens and really done a good job, it would have helped them. But instead, they've done a terrible response, and then it's like, oh, here's a $750 loan with strings attached. Meanwhile, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars overseas. People are pissed.
Yeah, all that money spent on bringing over migrants. Anyway, thank you so much for this. Appreciate it, Miles.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
How do people access your content?
You go on YouTube. It's at Wisconsin Radio. The channel is called Wisconsin International Radio, but if you just look up at Wisconsin Radio, you will find all of these interviews that I've been doing over the last, 20 years, but specifically the last couple days of interviewing all these people in Wisconsin and what they think about the election.
Miles Kristen, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.